Every van buyer has a moment. You find the van you dreamed about, do the research, shake hands on a price, drive home convinced you got a fair deal. And then slowly, over the next few weeks, you realize exactly how much money you left on that table. I got tired of watching that happen, so I investigated 10 van retailers. Only one of them is actually giving you a fair deal. Let us find out which. Before we get into it, I want to be upfront about how I ran this investigation. I did not just look at sticker prices and call it a day. I went deeper. I examined final out-the-door costs, mandatory add-on packages, financing arrangements, documentation fees, and how prices compare to what real buyers report paying across owner forums, Reddit communities, Sprinter Source, the Van Life subreddit, and van life groups with hundreds of thousands of members. I cross-referenced listing prices with actual sales data, compared dealer strategies across markets, and looked at where the money is really going at each stage of the transaction. Because in the van market, whether you are buying a bare cargo van, a used fleet vehicle, or a fully converted camper, the asking price is almost never the whole story. There is always more happening beneath the surface. The van market has changed dramatically in the last few years. During the pandemic years, demand exploded almost overnight. People rediscovered the freedom of the open road. The van life movement went completely mainstream. Van life content creators racked up millions of followers, and suddenly, every cargo van on every dealer lot had a waiting list 6 months long. Prices soared to levels nobody had predicted. Market adjustments became standard practice, and a lot of buyers, desperate, excited, and emotionally invested in a dream, paid whatever was asked because they felt like they had no choice. Now the picture looks completely different. Inventory has normalized. Supply chains have recovered. In 2025 and into 2026, there is no shortage of vans sitting on lots, no shortage of converted campers available on the market, no shortage of options across every category. Which means there is absolutely no justification for the pricing structures most of these retailers are still running. And yet, as this investigation discovered, the vast majority of them have not adjusted their behavior at all. They are still charging you like it is 2021. They are still applying the same markups, the same fee structures, the same psychological pressure tactics that worked during the shortage, and most buyers never even realize it. So let us start from the beginning, with the retailer that made buying a used van feel like something you could do from your couch in your pajamas. Retailer number 1, Carvana. If you have not encountered Carvana yet, you have almost certainly seen their advertisements. The glass vending machine towers, the promise of a 7-day return window, the pitch that buying a used vehicle can be as simple and stress-free as ordering something online. And to be genuinely fair, for a lot of everyday consumer cars, Carvana has disrupted the traditional dealership experience in ways that carry real value. The process is clean. The interface is intuitive. You avoid a salesperson standing next to you for 3 hours making small talk while you wait to sign 17 pieces of paperwork. But here is what I found when I ran their van inventory through the numbers. And this is where things get uncomfortable. Across a comprehensive sample of used Ford Transit cargo vans and Mercedes-Benz Sprinter panel vans listed on Carvana throughout 2025, pricing ran consistently between $5,000 and $9,000 above comparable listings on private marketplaces and fleet-focused commercial platforms for vehicles of equivalent year, mileage, and condition. The premium for convenience is not small. It is not a rounding error. It is a significant and deliberate gap. Here is the mechanic behind that number. Carvana has built their model on the idea that their price is the market price. There is no negotiation. What you see is what you pay, which sounds liberating until you understand what you are actually funding with that premium. Their delivery network, their customer service infrastructure, their 125-point inspection process, their marketing budget, and their shareholder return expectations. Every dollar of their overhead gets distributed across the retail price of every vehicle they sell. You, as the buyer, are financing all of that every time you click the purchase button. Then there is the financing piece. Carvana rates, according to multiple buyer reports and independent analyses from 2024 and 2025, ran consistently 1 to 2 percentage points above what the same buyer could have secured through a credit union or regional bank on an identical vehicle. On a $45,000 van over 60 months, that rate difference translates to $1,500 to $3,000 in additional interest. Combined with the purchase premium, a buyer using the full Carvana stack can end up paying $10,000 to $12,000 more than a buyer who found the same van privately and financed it independently. The 7-day return window has value. The inspection process has value. The no dealership games experience has genuine value for certain buyers. But when you put specific numbers next to that convenience, the math is very difficult to ignore. Verdict on Carvana: overcharging. The convenience is real. The premium is real and significant. Retailer number 2, CarMax. CarMax is the largest used vehicle retailer in the United States. With over 200 locations nationwide and a no-haggle pricing model that for years was genuinely seen as a breath of fresh air in an industry built on pressure and hidden fees. Walk in, see the price, pay the price, drive away. No negotiation, no drama, no 4-hour marathon in a finance office. It sounded almost revolutionary. The problem is that no-haggle pricing only works for the buyer if the price itself is a fair one. And when you look at what CarMax actually charges for used cargo and passenger vans, the story gets complicated quickly. Data drawn from buyer reports, independent market analyses, and cross-referenced listings on comparison tools consistently shows CarMax pricing cargo vans at $2,500 to $5,000 above private party equivalents for comparable vehicles. In some cases, particularly for lower mileage sprinters and well-equipped transits, that gap stretched even wider. On a used van that a private seller might list at $38,000 after a full service, CarMax pricing for an equivalent vehicle frequently landed at $42,000 to $44,000. CarMax will tell you, and they are not wrong, that their premium covers real costs. The 125-point inspection is genuine. The 30-day warranty is real. The return window has genuine value. But here is the critical distinction for the van buyer specifically. If you are buying a van to convert into a camper, you are going to strip that van to its walls and rebuild it from the inside out. The warranty on a vehicle you are actively disassembling becomes largely irrelevant. You are paying the full CarMax premium for services you will largely never use. Verdict on CarMax: overcharging by design and business model. The services they offer are genuine. The value for van life buyers is not. Retailer number 3, Ford Commercial Vehicle Dealers. Now we reach the traditional franchise dealer world, and things get more nuanced and more frustrating simultaneously. Ford sells through a franchise dealer network of over 3,000 locations across the United States. The Ford Transit is one of the most popular van platforms for both commercial operators and van life converters, and is one of the most widely available vans in America. More dealers, more inventory, more competition. In theory, that should translate to better prices for buyers. In theory. Here is what the investigation found in practice, a structure I started calling fee architecture. The base MSRP on a standard Ford Transit cargo van lands between $42,000 and $48,000, depending on configuration. That number appears on the window sticker. That is also the last clean, simple price you will see in the entire transaction. By the time you reach the finance office, a series of additions has materialized. Market adjustment fees, still appearing on buyer contracts in 2025, despite fully normalized market conditions, ranging from $1,500 to $3,000. Mandatory dealer add-on packages, nitrogen-inflated tires, a service worth $30 billed at $300, paint protection on a cargo van, dealer-installed window tint, key replacement plans. These packages routinely run $800 to $2,500 and are presented as non-removable. Documentation fees add another layer. States like Florida permit documentation fees approaching $1,000, with the national dealer average running approximately $500. And then there is the financing desk, where the buy rate from Ford Motor Credit gets marked up by the dealership, costing buyers additional percentage points of interest that the dealer captures as profit without the buyer ever seeing it happen. Add the fee architecture together and a Transit at $46,000. MSRP regularly closes at $52,000 or $53,000 at out-the-door level, a gap of $6,000 to $7,000 generated almost entirely by optional add-ons, presented as mandatory and fees created by the dealer rather than the manufacturer. High-volume commercial dealers who work fleet accounts often operate more honestly, but for the average buyer walking in off the street, verdict: overcharging with meaningful variation by dealer. Retailer number 4, boho camper vans. Now we enter van conversion territory, where the question of what fair pricing means gets genuinely complicated. When you buy a converted van, you are not just buying a vehicle. You are buying labor, design, materials, a warranty, and a brand. Pricing a conversion is inherently more subjective, but that does not make all conversion pricing fair. Boho Camper Vans has built a real following on the promise of artisanal, beautiful, and relatively accessible builds. Their Instagram is warm and aspirational. Their design language is genuinely appealing. They have positioned themselves as a more approachable alternative to six-figure builders, and they have succeeded in associating their name with the idea that accessible and fairly priced are synonymous. The numbers suggest otherwise. Boho entry-level conversion work starts at approximately $75,000, representing labor and materials alone, not including the base van chassis. Factor in a used Transit or Sprinter meeting their requirements, typically costing $35,000 to $50,000 depending on age and condition, and total out-the-door costs for a complete boho build land consistently between $95,000 and $115,000. For that investment, buyers receive a build using solid materials, birch cabinetry, functional lithium electrical systems, adequate insulation, but components that experienced independent assessors describe as equivalent in quality and function to a well-executed DIY build, costing a motivated person approximately $35,000 to $50,000 in materials. The labor markup is significant, and unlike luxury tier builders, you are not receiving expedition-grade engineering or exotic materials. You are receiving competent, beautiful craftsmanship at a price that partially reflects real labor costs and partially reflects brand premium. Verdict: overcharging, not dramatically, but measurably and consistently. Before we push deeper, I want to pause for a moment. I want to know where you are in this process. Are you currently shopping? Have you already bought from one of these retailers? Have you encountered hidden fees, surprise add-ons, or a price you later realized was well above market? Drop a comment below. The experiences in this community are some of the most useful data I have, and I genuinely read them all. Alright, back to the investigation. Retailer number 5, Sportsmobile. Sportsmobile is a genuine piece of American van culture history, and I want to honor that before addressing their pricing. Founded in 1961, 65 years in business, they helped create the van conversion industry. They pioneered the pop-top roof system, were among the first to offer mechanical four-wheel drive conversions on commercial platforms, and generations of surfers, climbers, and adventurers trusted Sportsmobile to get them places the map barely acknowledged. That heritage is real and earned. That makes the current pricing conversation uncomfortable. Full Sportsmobile builds on Mercedes-Benz Sprinter platforms begin at approximately $165,000 to $175,000 in 2025. Their four-wheel drive conversion adds between $15,000 and $22,000 depending on the specific system. Current lead times run 12 to 18 months from order to delivery, meaning you commit to today's pricing for a vehicle delivered into a market that may look very different. Here is what the investigation found when comparing price trajectory against product trajectory. The core sportsmobile conversion, the fundamental layout, systems architecture, and material quality is largely consistent with what it was a decade ago. The craftsmanship is genuine. The durability is real. But pricing has risen significantly faster than the product has evolved. A meaningful portion of the increase reflects genuine material and labor cost increases. But another meaningful portion is the premium of being sportsmobile. The premium of the name, the heritage, the community credibility. When comparable capability from newer builders consistently comes in $30,000 to $40,000 lower, the math asks a hard question. Verdict: overcharging, trading on legacy at a rate that has outpaced actual product evolution. Retailer number 6, Midwest Automotive Designs. Midwest Automotive Designs, known as MAD, occupies the intersection of high-end personal travel and executive luxury transport. Their vehicles, the Passage, Business Class, and Day Cruiser, are engineered to serve double duty: premium road travel and professional executive transport. Hand-stitched leather seating, fiber optic lighting, premium AV systems, climate control capable of extreme conditions. Impressive products by any standard. Retail pricing runs from approximately $120,000 at entry to $165,000 for well-equipped configurations. They sell through authorized dealer networks rather than directly, and this is where the pricing structure introduces a problem unique to how MAD operates. When you purchase through an authorized MAD dealer, you are paying two distinct layers of margin. First, MAD conversion margin built into the price they charge the dealer. Second, the dealer retail margin added before the vehicle reaches you, along with that dealer documentation fees, preparation fees, and in some cases, market adjustments on popular configurations. The product is genuinely premium, but the double margin distribution structure means that a meaningful portion of your purchase price, estimated at $15,000 to $20,000, represents pure distribution cost rather than vehicle value. Money flowing through two commercial layers, not into what you are driving. Verdict: overcharging. The dual margin structure inflates the final price beyond what the product alone justifies. Retailer number 7, Mercedes-Benz Van Centers. The Sprinter is the most culturally dominant van in the current van life movement, and Mercedes-Benz Van Centers have become skilled at monetizing exactly that status. A new Sprinter 2500 cargo van in the 170-inch extended wheelbase, the configuration van life buyers almost universally want, starts at approximately $56,000 MSRP for rear-wheel drive. The AWD configuration, which most serious van life buyers specifically target for all-weather and light off-road capability, adds several $1,000s and frequently puts the factory-equipped base vehicle at $62,000 to $67,000 before dealer adjustments. Then the adjustments come. Van centers are specialized operations with their own overhead structures and pricing cultures. Buyers consistently report dealer preparation fees of $500 to $1,500 on already premium vehicles. Mandatory accessory bundles, van-ready packages including step sills and cargo liners that conversion builders immediately discard, presented as non-optional. For the AWD Sprinter specifically, the most desired configuration, market adjustment fees appearing in buyer reports throughout my research at $2,500 to $4,500 above MSRP, even in 2025, when broader Sprinter inventory has fully normalized. The financing environment adds another layer. Buyers arriving without prearranged financing consistently report rates running 1 to 2 percentage points above what credit unions and regional banks offered on the same vehicle. Over 60 months on a $65,000 van, that rate difference translates to $2,000 to $4,000 in additional interest. The Sprinter deserves its reputation. The Van Center retail experience frequently does not. Verdict: overcharging through market adjustments on popular configurations, mandatory add-ons, and financing rate markups. Retailer number 8, Outside Van. Outside Van in Portland, Oregon makes products that are, by any honest assessment, extraordinary. Their builds are engineered for real expedition use by people who actually take these vehicles to places most van life content creators only photograph. Every electrical system is overspecified for reliability under extreme conditions. Every structural component is selected for longevity in environments that genuinely test materials. Every build is fully custom. Entry pricing starts at approximately $185,000 and rises past $250,000 for builds with full off-road packages and premium materials. And here is where the investigation had to grapple with a genuinely complex question. Is that overcharging, or is it simply the market rate for an exceptional product? For a specific subset of buyers, the answer is no. Serious overlanders who access technical terrain, professional photographers using vans as mobile production studios, search and rescue support operators. For those users, the engineering gap between an outside van build and a standard conversion is real, and it commands a real premium. The complication: outside van marketing has successfully captured a buyer base well beyond that core user group. Weekend adventurers, remote workers, first-time van lifers drawn to the brand aesthetic. For that audience, which patterns of demand suggest represents the majority of their buyers, they are purchasing engineering capability they will never realistically stress test at a price that reflects the full cost of that engineering. The gap between the capability a typical outside van buyer pays for and the capability they actually use in practice is measured in tens of thousands of dollars. Outside van builds honest vehicles, but for most buyers, verdict: overcharging, not through deception, but through a significant gap between what typical buyers pay for and what they actually use. Retailer number 9, Storyteller Overland. Now we arrive at the most interesting case in this entire investigation. Storyteller Overland is the only retailer on this list that has built their business model explicitly around pricing transparency. Their see-through pricing commitment, the foundational promise that what you see on their website is what you pay at any authorized dealer nationwide, with no market adjustments, no dealer-level markups on the conversion price, and no negotiation theater, is a real and meaningful differentiator. In an industry full of pricing games, that commitment represents genuine courage and meaningful progress. I want to acknowledge that genuinely because it matters. Here is the complication: Storyteller entry level. Classic mode starts at $179,000. Their Beast mode runs between $200,000 and $230,000. These prices are transparent, non-negotiable, and include the base chassis, conversion work, and authorized dealer margin rolled into a single stated number. But consider what you are paying for. You are paying a meaningful premium for standardization. You are paying for the process of buying without negotiation. You are paying for the assurance that no other storyteller buyer got a better deal. And that premium, the cost of transparency and standardization itself, is built into the base price from the factory. Storyteller has preloaded the markup into the MSRP and called it clarity, which is genuinely clever and more honest than anything else on this list, but which still means a comparably capable van sourced through an independent builder and a good chassis deal can be assembled for substantially less. One additional nuance the investigation surfaced: Storyteller authorized dealers can and do add standard documentation and preparation fees on top of the see-through price. The see-through price is the conversion price. It is not the complete out-the-door cost. Storyteller Overland is the most honest retailer on this list. That is genuine and earned praise, but honesty and affordability are two different things. Verdict: overcharging, but the most transparent and honest form of it on this list by a meaningful margin. And now, After 9 retailers, 9 investigations, 9 verdicts, we arrive at the one that is different, the one that, across every metric this investigation applied, came back clean, the one retailer that is not overcharging you. Retailer number 10, Penske Used Trucks. I know exactly what you were expecting the answer to be. A boutique direct-to-consumer brand, a mission-driven no-markup dealer, something with a van life community and a beautiful Instagram and a founder who lives in a Sprinter. The answer is Penske Used Trucks, the company most Americans associate with orange-moving trucks. And I want to walk you through exactly why, because the reasons are specific and verifiable. Penske operates one of the largest commercial vehicle fleets in North America. Their vans and trucks, Ford Transits, Mercedes-Benz Sprinters, Ram Pro Masters, Chevrolet Express cargo vans are maintained under a program built to manufacturer specifications, oil changes, brake services, tire rotations, scheduled inspections. Every service event documented across the life of the vehicle in a system that produces a verifiable maintenance history. When a Penske vehicle reaches the end of its service life, typically between 100,000 and 150,000 miles, depending on model and usage, it enters the used truck sales network. Here is what the investigation found in the pricing comparison. Penske does not add market adjustments. They are not a retail business running a marketing-driven premium on their inventory. They do not bundle mandatory accessories. Their documentation fees run at standard regulatory minimums. And in repeated pricing comparisons across multiple markets throughout 2024 and 2025, Penske listed prices on comparable Ford Transit and Ram Pro Master cargo vans came in consistently between $4,000 and $9,000, below franchise dealer pricing for equivalent year and mileage configurations. The financing piece works differently too. Penske is a logistics company that sells used vehicles as part of fleet cycle management. They do not earn dealer reserve on the financing rate they quote. There is no finance manager whose income depends on how much interest you agree to pay. For buyers arriving with pre-approved financing, which you should always do regardless of where you buy, the Penske transaction is entirely free of the financing pressure games that franchise dealers depend on. The maintenance history advantage deserves particular emphasis for van life buyers. In a community where people are planning to live in or rely heavily on their vehicles, knowing what has been done to a van, not a rough estimate, not a Carfax summary, but actual documented service records, has real and tangible value. Penske makes that history available. The vehicles have been professionally maintained on schedule. The documentation exists and is real. There are genuine trade-offs. Penske inventory is determined by fleet attrition, not customer preference. You cannot spec the exact wheelbase, roof height, or color you want and wait for it to appear. Many vehicles carry the cosmetic wear of commercial life: scratches, dents, faded paint. Some units come from demanding delivery cycles. The purchase experience is commercial, thorough, transactional, and not warm or community-oriented. And you will want an independent pre-purchase inspection before committing. But if what you need is a capable, well-maintained van chassis at a genuinely honest market price, with no games, no hidden fees, no marketing premium, no mandatory bundles, and no financing rate manipulation, the investigation found exactly one retailer that consistently delivers that. It is Penske. Verdict: not overcharging. The only retailer on this list where that verdict holds across every metric examined. So what does all of this tell us? It tells us something the van market does not want you to know. The premium you are paying at almost every retailer, whether digital platform, franchise dealer, or luxury conversion builder, is not primarily a reflection of the vehicle genuine value. It is a reflection of marketing infrastructure costs, multi-layer distribution margins, brand premiums, and financial products engineered to capture money you do not realize you are spending. The van life dream has been thoroughly commodified. The freedom the road represents has been packaged and sold at the highest price the market will bear. And here's the part that should stay with you. The machine that represents that dream, capable, honest, well-maintained, and available at a fair price, is absolutely still out there. Not at the platforms with the beautiful marketing, not at the dealers with the showrooms and the free coffee. It is sitting on a commercial truck lot, still in rental yellow, with 120,000 documented miles and a clean service history. The dream is real. The price does not have to be a nightmare. Now you know where to look. I want to hear from you. Which of these 10 retailers surprised you most? Is there one you have personally dealt with? And did your experience match what this investigation found? Have you found a van deal you are genuinely proud of somewhere we did not talk about? Drop it in the comments. This community collective knowledge is worth more than any single investigation. And if this video changed how you will approach the van market, a subscription costs you nothing, but means the next investigation reaches you directly. Because next time, we are going even deeper. We are looking at the hidden costs of van ownership itself, the costs no retailer will ever mention when they are trying to sell you the dream.